Hey guys, Mr. C coming to you again from Cartagena, Colombia, the epicenter of femininity in the entire world. Want to talk to you a little bit. Tuskman asked me for a while to do a video on how to integrate masculinity on a much more broad level into your life, not just into your dating life. We usually think about day game, pickup, masculinity as how to increase your love life and your own value in the dating pool and date the women that you want, which is great. That is, I mean, it fucking works incredibly well at that, okay? But that's only, I would say, I don't even know if I would say half of the story, and maybe it's 20% of the story, I think, or something. A lot of guys get so fixated on that because they're just so fucking horny and they don't have a chance to be with quality women that they're like, oh my god, that's what I want, get my dick wet. But I think when you get beyond that and you discover, holy shit, there's like a whole world available to upper tier men that isn't available to anybody else, it really transforms your view of what you want out of life and how you want to live your life. And all of a sudden the idea of meeting chicks at a bar and going home and getting laid, it's not the be all end all, right? So what we want to talk about is applying your masculinity to your finances. Now, for myself, for example, I'm taking 2020 off. This year for me is just going to be about travel, go to a lot of places that I want to be and that I like dating women from. So I came to Colombia for a few months, and then I'll probably do some boot camps here, and we're doing one right now in Cartagena, having a blast. And then Tusk is coming down next week. We're going to be doing one in Cali, Colombia. It's going to be crazy for New Year's, some definite carnage. And then in the new year, I'll be here for a couple more months, and then move on to Asia for a few months, into Korea and Japan and a few other places, and then probably into Eastern Europe and maybe back here. But a lot of guys are like, how the fuck do you pay for this, right? Obviously, I charge for my time on boot camps, but it's a hobby for me. I don't make my money in boot camps. I enjoy teaching guys how to be masculine and how to integrate it properly, but it's not how I pay my bills. My bills are paid through using Forex to pay for my life. And so I got into that. I've always been in business. I got into that, as some of you know, about 3 years ago. I was on the brink of bankruptcy, very terrible divorce with a spicy Latina. And then I built myself from the ground up and decided I wanted a life that allowed me maximum freedom and time. So now I work maybe an hour a week and enjoy the fruits of being able to invest the rest of the week in whatever I want. And I teach guys how to do that as well. That's what I'm passionate about. I like teaching guys how to do daygame. I also like teaching guys how to build out their masculinity, and I like teaching guys how to be financially free. So, Ege, I met originally on a boot camp with Tusk in Scottsdale back in last year. What, May?
I think it was April.
April last year.
Yeah.
Scottsdale, Arizona. Great time, fun time we had. And then I started building out my finance course at CreativeX. And so then you took my finance course, you started it when very shortly, just before I had even had it built. I think I don't even think I had anything up, where it was just an idea and you already signed on. That was in August?
Over the summer, yeah.
Something like that?
Either July or August.
And then we started building it out and branding it and actually getting all the modules together and stuff. And you've done really, really well with it. And so you're the ideal person to talk to in a video like this. So I wanted to talk to you specifically about how have you seen applying masculinity into your life? How have you seen that build out in your love life through the day game coaching and the masculinity training? And how have you seen it build out in your financial life and your understanding and relationship with money? In my own opinion, they're actually almost identical. I wouldn't even say they're the other side of the same coin. They're like, one is half of one side of the coin and the other's the other half of the same fucking side. So, give me a little bit of your perspective. What have you got out of the course? What did you like about it? What did you not like out of it? Be candid, I don't care.
Yeah, I think, so when I first got into doing day game and approaches, it was mainly about seeing if this would work for me. And it wasn't until that I met you in the Scottsdale boot camp, and we had that boot camp where I realized a lot of this applied skills are not about, oh, I'm going to get a date or I'm going to date a very attractive woman, but it is about becoming free. So whenever I did an approach, to me, it was about becoming free and taking responsibility for where you are in your life. Like, it wasn't about getting a number, it wasn't about getting a date. It was about understanding that whatever situation your life is in, it is your responsibility to take charge and change that situation. And as you and I talked more about masculinity, like when I had questions about stuff, even after the boot camp, you were always very helpful. And I never really saw myself as a person who was very aware of his financial spendings. I don't really buy many clothes, I don't really overspend, but I also didn't have a clear idea of where my money was specifically going to. So I wanted to get better at understanding my finances. And the second thing, which really applies to what he said, is like the idea of masculinity is the general idea that you apply to different parts of your life. So daygame is one application. It's about taking risk of going up to someone, giving a genuine compliment, potentially facing rejection, and seeing how that goes. Now, utilizing your finances and trying to achieve financial freedom is another application of the same masculinity, like high-level outline. Because let's say you do a lot of daygame, you got really good with your skills, but if you still have to go to work every week, work for 40 hours for someone else, like, you're not going to be as masculine as a guy who has his own thing going on and who doesn't have to report to someone else. That's just...
I'll point out a couple things, because I think you're entirely right, but a lot of guys get this wrong. A lot of guys think, oh, okay, you need to be rich, because that's going to make you... We just had a guy in the WhatsApp group, bit of a clown, and talking about how, you know, rappers are upper tier because they have so much money and they can get any woman they want because they have a Ferrari and whatever. A lot of guys think that, like, I got to get rich because then I'm going to get all these chicks. This is like how the 95% think. It's ass backwards. It's terrible. You don't want to go there, route. That's not at all what we're teaching. But it's actually the opposite. Like, if you are in the upper tier because you've really integrated a lot of masculinity into your life and who you are, and you're living life that way, your life will look a certain way. Masculinity is rewarded in society. That's why all CEOs, all business owners, all wealthy people are very masculine. I don't care whether you have a dick or a pussy. You know, women can be very masculine and they can get ahead. That's what the feminist movement's all about. Stop being feminine women, become masculine women, make lots of money and need no men in your life. That's exactly what the feminist women has been preaching, or the feminist movement has been preaching, right? So what I'm saying is, yeah, masculinity is that engine that provides that. So if you are integrating masculinity into your life, you're not going to be the guy that's like, I'm working 40 hours a week at Home Depot and I make $22 an hour and I never have money to go anywhere. It's like, it just doesn't compute. It's like, you integrate masculinity into your life, you climb up the social hierarchy, and you have the fruit of being higher up the social hierarchy. She comes over to your place and she sees that you live in a pigsty in a tiny dinky little room. She knows you're not upper tier. She's not interested in your money. She's not a gold digger. It's just upper tier guys don't live like that, you know? And on top of that, that's about having freedom over your time, but I'll take it even a step further, freedom over your location, you know? If you're in the upper tier and you really like dating Japanese women, go to Japan. Don't get all pissed off that you live in Arkansas and there's no Japanese women there. What the fuck are you doing, man? Like, I love Latinas. So I left Canada for a year and I'm spending as much time as I want in Latin America. And guess what? There's millions of Latinas that live down here. Fancy that. Like, you come to Latin America and it's full of Latinas. Wow. Or I could have stayed in Vancouver and bitched and complained that there's not a lot of feminine Latinas in my city, which is what most guys do, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you gotta, I agree fully. Like, you integrate masculinity, it provides the fruit of the engine to create a lot more wealth, and that wealth and that freedom you can spend in whatever way you want, right? Not trying to buy women not trying to sugar daddy women, not trying to puff up your ego and get a Ferrari and whatever. No, just have the freedom to do what you want. You don't want to work this week? Don't work this week. Just go do day game and pick up chicks.
Yeah.
You want to pick up Korean chicks? Go to Korea. It's not that tricky.
Yeah, I think the idea of one, freedom, and the second thing is like understanding of where your finances are going were the two main things that really gathered my interest, along with just knowing you and having that personal connection of, okay, if you're doing something, then I'm in. I don't really know what it's about, but I just know that it's going to be good.
So we teach at Creative X, we teach a lot about, it's very similar to UpperTier, which is the, masculinity coaching brand. So we teach a lot about, excuse me, got another cold. So we teach a ton about overcoming fear, the exact same as day game stuff, right? We teach a lot about doing things that you think are impossible, getting over your self-limiting beliefs, discovering the freedom to be authentically who you are, discovering what your priorities are in life and how to achieve them, goal setting, accomplishing goals, all that kind of stuff. It's almost the same as the day game
Yeah.
stuff. It's
And-
just you're doing it with a dollar bill instead of with beautiful women down the street,
Yeah.
I think it's one of the reasons that I love doing work with Tusk is that he, in my opinion, is one of the best coaches out there right now. I get paid nothing for this video. I get paid nothing for saying that. I just really think I respect the guy a ton. I think he's a great friend of mine, and he's a great guy as a man. And one of the things that I noticed right away about him, that I love about him, is everything that he talks and everything that he does is so integrated. He's never off, like he's him. So he's not like put on a mask, pick up the chicks, take off the mask tomorrow, put it back on, take it off. He's just him, and the women that he approaches and he interacts with, they love it because they can tell right away this guy has integrated all of this into his life and he's just being himself, and that's when you know that you're really at a high level, because you can then just be yourself, and it's actually great advice, right? And so, I think he's an example of really well integrated masculinity and how it comes across as just most guys that spend time around him, you can give me your opinion, I think just immediately realize like, oh shit, he's doing a really good job of being a man, and I want to learn how to be a man the way he's doing it,
Yeah.
I think that's one of his great qualities, in my own opinion. And I think women see that right away too, which is a beautiful thing. You're not, when you do dating that way, you're not trying to pick up chicks. You're being yourself, and the chicks just want to be there. You're allowing them the opportunity to experience a delicious masculine experience, and I think the overlap is just very similar with your finances, right?
Yeah.
You're not trying so fucking hard to get ahead. No. When you start to understand how money works properly, you reorient yourself and you pivot and think about things almost the exact opposite. And it's more about letting, doing scary things, but letting the money roll in and come to you versus you trying to like slave away and create the impossible. No, it's totally possible for you to not have to work. It's completely fucking possible. It's the entire foundation of what we're doing at Creative X.
Yeah, I think both are a lot about challenging beliefs that the society has. Like, oh, I can't just go up to someone and start a conversation. Like, that's never gonna work for day game. And then once you start,
Or even like you look at that girl, she's too gorgeous. She would not. She's not free. Like how many? Or she gets approached like that all the time. Like how many chicks do you ask that to? And
And
they're
then
all
you
like,
ask-
I've never been approached like this in my life.
yeah,
What are you doing tonight? Nothing. What are you doing tomorrow night? Nothing. But you're gorgeous. Yeah. But most guys are clowns, and I don't want to go out with them. And or how long has it been since you've had an incredible experience with a man? 3 years. What? You fucking kidding me?
yeah, and I think that with day game and with money, it's like a lot about, oh, I just need a lot of money. But once you realize the main thing that you're looking for is not the money, it's the freedom. It's a completely shift in perspective. Because like a lot of people follow money, like the higher tax bracket thing that we were talking about. A lot of people think, oh, I get a high paying job and get paid this much money per year. That's fucking amazing. But then what you said was half of the money you earn goes to tax because of the bracket that you're in. So I think like both are about understanding beliefs that are good for society itself, but not necessarily good for you as a person, and being able to at least consider the other side of, oh, maybe if I do talk to someone during the day, it would work, or maybe if I do my finances in this way, then it could work, and being able to at least entertain that idea before accepting it as the truth.
Totally. Like, I mean, I can think of a whole bunch like you're talking about, but we'll use the tax bracket one for example. You know, you're going to get a job, 120 grand. You think you're a rock star because you're a software engineer, starting at 120 grand, blah, blah, blah. Once you distill that down through what you pay in tax and all the extra taxes, like your gas tax, your road tax, your, you know, we have like a metro bus tax and built into stuff. Like, you wouldn't believe how many different taxes there are in your society if you actually start to break it down, right? And then of course on top of that you got sales tax, you got blah, blah, blah. And when you look at it and you go like, okay, you're an employee working there for 120 grand, I'd be pretty shocked if you're keeping more than 50K of that in your pocket at the end of it. After you paid your income tax, and then you paid all the different sales tax, and road tax, and gas tax, blah, 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 blah. It's shockingly different, you know? And there's, through the use of corporations and through business and creating your businesses in other countries and all different things you can do, you know, you can completely transform your tax burden. You know, you could make 80 grand instead of 120 grand, but if you keep 70 grand in your pocket, instead of keeping 50 grand in your pocket, you're 20 grand wealthier, even though you're making 40 grand less. You know, it's simple stuff like that that most people just never look at. And that's the stuff that actually, that's where you got to invest your time, you know? Most people are so terrified of losing money, or so terrified of the mistakes, or what the mistakes would mean, or they're so fixated on their goals, like, I want to become a millionaire because then I'm somebody. Or I want to be a doctor because then I'm somebody. You know, they don't want to be a doctor, they want to be somebody. What I would suggest instead is become somebody. You know, and then do what you want. If you want to be a doctor, that's awesome. If you don't want to be working, don't work. Want to write a book, right? And once you discover that you don't need $1 million to provide for your life, then it's like, well, why do you want $1 million? You know, like, if your life costs you $4 grand a month, really you need $5 grand a month. Then you're happy, right? And that's the approach that we take. It's like, create an ATM machine that pays for your life on a monthly basis in, you know, a way that takes a lot of effort to learn and grow, but is not rocket science. How have you find the course as far as pushing you into some uncomfortable places and shaking some of your belief systems?
I thought you recommended a couple of books at the beginning. So those books, as I was reading them, it was interesting because I had a lens of daygame and then I had a lens of finances, and it was just like having the same idea but shining the flashlight onto like a different area in a sense. So a lot of the stuff that the books were talking about were ideas that I applied when I was approaching, but not necessarily ideas that I applied in my finances. So I really liked that aspect. The second thing that I enjoyed was the understanding of how your budget goes and the perspective that you have about, look, budgeting is not about not buying coffee from Starbucks. It's about understanding and setting different amounts for different parts of your life, so you know, oh, if I overspend $200 from my travel budget, then that has to come out from a different area, or I can allocate this much money for my clothing budget, like $100 a month, and then if I don't use it for 3 months, then I could buy a shoe or something that I really wanted to buy after 3 months. So I think to me, having the understanding and just the control over what's going on really helps. One thing that I found difficult was just the Forex terminology and the specifics at first, but the website that you shared really it's really technical information. So if you try to read a book, it's very dense. But the website makes it be entertaining with like jokes and illustrations and all that.
Much
So
more
that-
approachable.
Yeah.
Yeah, the common misbelief, you don't need to become an expert economist. You know, you need to learn some stuff, but that's what we use. We have software that we use that does the trading for us, and so you have to learn a little bit of stuff, but the software knows 90% or 95% of the stuff, you know. So yeah, definitely highly recommend, guys, have a broad view of your life and figure out how you can use masculinity to increase your life in all of those areas, not simply getting your dick wet. That's kind of a really sad, when you meet guys like that, it's just really sad. It's like, dude, you could have so much higher goals. You know, your goals could be so much higher, right? And once you get a taste of life like that, which we call living in the upper tier, you can never go back to being some slouch that goes and gets laid by half-drunk women in the gutter. It's just nothing for you, right? So thanks for your time, guys. We're going to do a few more videos on integrating masculinity into your finances. But thank you very much for your time. Hit Tusk up to get added to his WhatsApp group. It's an absolutely incredible resource to build your masculinity. And look forward to talking about you more about this stuff later. If you want to book a boot camp, either talk to Tusk about it or talk to me directly, and we'll get you set up. Take care, guys.